So I've recently acquired 2 baby milk frogs, and in this video I'm going to show you just the simple setup that I put together for these guys just until they get a little bit more size to them, and then eventually they will be moved into a fully bioactive setup. But these cute little guys here, I couldn't resist, and thanks to a good friend for hooking me up with these guys. Now these guys will get to a fairly decent size for a tree frog, so this will be fun for the channel to watch these guys grow. So I'm just going to simply start off with this critter keeper here. I cleaned it out really well and made sure everything was clean, made sure there was nothing on the sides, and we are going to use this sphagnum moss as the substrate in the container, and then we're just going to use this fake plant for them to climb on and to just as decorations. We will also need some type of like watering dish, because they will oftentimes like to just sit and soak in them, and since I had 2 frogs, I'm just going to go ahead and use 2 little water dishes, just that way they don't have to share if they don't want to. So like I said, I cleaned this container out really well because we got to be a little more cautious with frogs. And so I'm just going to simply add this dry sphagnum moss to the container. We're going to get a fairly deep substrate here. I just like a little bit, it helps with humidity if it's slightly deep, but I mean, to each your own. I know people who also get away with just using wet paper towel. Just obviously this has to be cleaned regularly, so you really don't want anything too expensive or too elaborate here in the beginning, because they are just little. So and we also want it to we got to keep in mind they need that humidity. So I personally like to use sphagnum moss. This is about a 1/2 inch thick. I'm gonna add just a little bit more. There's some bare spots you can't see from this angle on the camera. So again, dry sphagnum moss. I am using filtered water here. I don't want any kind of contaminants, or chlorine or anything like that. So I do use a filtered water, and that I purchased from the store. It's already filtered. It's really cheap too. It's only like 39 cents a gallon or something. So it's not really that big of an expense. And then again, I use this fake plant. I like to use the fake plants because again, when you're cleaning, you can just soak this in some hot water and make sure that there's no bacteria growth going on or anything like that, and it's fresh and ready to go for the next time you need to use it. So again, we're going to put in these 2 little water dishes, not necessarily for them to drink, but more so just for them to bask in. That's why they're not very deep. But the humidity is pretty decent, and I don't think they're going to probably utilize it a whole lot. Oftentimes they will use it to go to the bathroom in, which will make cleanup a whole lot easier. Just sprayed the whole thing down before we added the frogs. Don't really want it to be too dry in there for them. So now it's time for the stars of the video, and that is of course these little cute little milk frog babies, and I don't want to touch them with my bare hands, so I'm just going to use the paper towel that they're on to transfer them over. If the camera will focus, there we go. Look how beautiful that frog is. One of my favorites. I've not had milk frogs in the past. I've had others like red eyes and dart frogs and dumpies or white tree frogs, but I've not had milk frogs. Again, I don't want to touch their bare skin, just for keeping them healthy and everything. Focus. There we go. At this age, it's really hard to kind of tell the difference between the two, but yeah, they're fun little frogs. Okay, so now that they are in the setup, I'm going to go ahead and feed them some dusted fruit flies. I did dust them with a multivitamin. So we'll do a little feeding montage and watch these guys catch flies.